Zohran rizzed up Donald Trump as I called it. I told you. It was a lock from a mile away. Did I not tell you that Donald Trump is a man who actually loves charisma, who actually appreciates someone's telegenic presence? I told you. We're going to be watching that right now. Obviously, I missed it live because I fell asleep. I'm so mad because I literally prepped for this moment. I only saw a couple pieces of it. as soon as I woke up, but I knew exactly what it was going to be like. I'm skipping the personal news. I'm going right into it because dude, Zohran rolled a natural 20. Holy shit. Did not expect him to go that hard. Brother, I fucking told you. Oh my God, I told you. You're sick. I'm sick in the head, dude. Mega for Momdani was right. Dude, I think there is a real charisma void. There is a real charisma void. Okay, there is a real charisma void in politics. And Donald Trump is low-key not devoid of motion for that reason, because he has charisma, like for his base especially, right? So he definitely recognizes that. He definitely appreciates that. Bro, I think you or me could charm the fuck out of Trump. I think so too. I think people who are capable, you don't have to like roll a nat 20. I mean, Zohran is uniquely charismatic, but like what's really interesting about this is that you don't really have to roll a nat 20. You could just be like kind of normal and it does wonders, especially for a guy like Trump. Because think about it. Every guy he deals with on a daily basis is like Lindsey Graham. And if every person you see is like Lindsey Graham or annoying sycophantic brown nosers who don't have any sort of motion whatsoever, and JD Vance, yeah, Zohran Mamdani's gonna look like a sex god, dude. On the Democratic Party front, if the people that you're dealing with are people like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, you're gonna meet a guy like Zohran Mamdani and be like, oh my God, he's not like particularly. I mean, he's a charismatic guy, but he's not like, I wouldn't even say that he's like Obama level. Maybe he's Obama. Maybe he'll get there eventually. But you have to remember, Donald Trump likes Bernie, or thought Bernie was a very big threat, right? Anyway, we're at the basically the end of our trip. And maybe I'm not so concerned about coming back to the United States of America because it seems like woke Sharia is imminent in the United States of America. Okay. European chatters going to sleep at 11 p.m. and waking up at 8 a.m. just to see Hasan still streaming from China. I'm pissed you missed it live, Hasan. Yeah, I was honk shoeing and memeing my ass off. Okay. I was honk shoeing and memeing my goddamn ass off. The amount of people that are going to be crying about this is awesome. Okay, the amount of Zionists that are in tears over this is incredible. It's spectacular. I work at night. You are literally my night shift radio. Hell yeah. All right, let's just get right into it. This comes as Jeffries and Dem leaders voted to condemn socialism. Yeah. They suck. Who cares? They can suck me. Okay. I'm diving right into it because there's so much to talk about here.
This city of ours that we love to do very well, and I wanted to congratulate the mayor. He really ran an incredible race against
Amazon, at Twitch, at Twitter. Why won't they ban them? Mods, why won't they ban them?
Well, I think if we didn't get along, whether it's cut off or just make it a little bit difficult or not give as much, we want to see, I use the term, we don't want good money going after bad, and we don't want that to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I did say, subject to what policies are being said. We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime. He wants to see housing being built.
Yeah, Dan Clancy is Hasan's handler. Exactly. oh, Dan Clancy's Hasan's handler. Dan Clancy loves Hasan. He's just keeping him.
He wants to see rents coming down, all things that I agree with. Now, we may disagree how we get there. The rent coming down, I think one of the things I really gleaned very much today, he'd like to see him come down, ideally, by building a lot of additional housing. Yeah. That's the ultimate way. He agrees with that, and so do I. But if I read the newspapers and the stories, I don't hear that. But I heard him say it today, and I think that's a very positive step. No, I don't expect. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help, because I want New York City to be great. Look, I love New York City. It's where I come from. I spent a lot of years there. Now I'm right here. We took a big setback with the mayor that we had, named de Blasio. I thought it was a tremendous setback.
Yeah, once again, by the way, call of the year. Not the hardest one to make, but I told you he would have. I told you he would have played ball with Zohran. And here he is, balling on it, okay? Here he is, playing ball. I did not expect him to cooperate like this. No, you don't understand Trump. If you thought that Donald Trump was going to go after someone like Zohran in a negative manner in person, you do not understand how Trump operates. Trump loves charisma. The reason why he invited Zohran Mamdani here, the reason why he invited Zohran Mamdani here is because of this, okay? Trump endorsed Mamdani before Schumer did. Trump was less Islamophobic to Zohran Mamdani during the campaign than Kirsten Gillibrand was, than Andrew Cuomo was. Donald Trump understands where to push and pull. That's why he won the presidency, man. He knows. He's a room reader. He knows who's popping. He's doing it because his base is frustrated at him with affordability, and he sees Zohran Mamdani's victory as an affordability victory. Okay? So he's trying to be like, hey, see, we're on the right side. We're on the right track. We're on the same side, you and I. It's pretty funny that some Hosburists are considering this to be basically October 7 all over again, by the way, which I'm going to get into in a second. But Yusuf Munayer's take on this. Zohran Mamdani, regularly slammed for being a political novice, just pulled off an absolute political masterclass. He requested a meeting with Trump, got Trump to endorse his efforts, and defanged the right's constant attacks on him. Absolute incredible stuff. And the reason this was possible is because Trump understands the political winds, where people are on affordability, and can't go against Mamdani, who has become the face of that issue for millions of Americans. Also, don't think Trump was not aware and not reveling in the fact that he was making the Democratic Party establishment come out looking like complete asshats, but they walked right into that one. That is exactly what's going on. Remember, Donald Trump never did the Donald Trump never did the Islamo-communist jihadist shit. He only did the Zohran is a communist. Zohran is a communist. Isn't that crazy? Do you not find that to be even a little interesting? I certainly do. King Clip with a funny meme on the situation. He did say he would deport him. Yeah, he called him a foreigner. Anyway, it's funny because I'm not confused by this, but it seems Republicans are. And the reason why I'm not confused by this is because as a Trump stan, I understand him better than his own cult does. Okay? I'm not confused by this allegiance at all. I'm not confused by this, not allegiance necessarily, but like this back and forth conversation. I am telling you, Trump loves winners. He has a unique eye for talent, and he knows this will make the establishment Dems look horrible. He'll continue calling Zohran a communist tomorrow. But for today, he's taking a little bit of that shine. It's that simple. That's it. Like, Donald Trump you also have to understand, like, what motivates this man, right? What motivates Donald Trump? Donald Trump is a narcissist. A big part of what drives him is said narcissism, right? He always wanted to be endorsed and welcomed by the New York elite. But because him and his father were slumlords and real estate developers and very nouveau riche with their vibes, with their attitude, especially Trump, because he's like the first gen, right? His dad was the one who made all the money. And then Trump was like the first gen rich guy. He went to all the right schools. He wanted to be a part of this elite society in New York, but he was too tacky. He was too rude. So he was never welcomed by them. I know it sounds stupid, but that is a major driving force behind Donald Trump's disdain for the elite. Okay? That is precisely the reason why he talks about Sissy Graydon Carter's Vanity Fair parties when he is stumping in West Virginia talking to coal miner families, because those guys already have resentment towards what they perceive as the liberal elite, but their resentment is very different than Donald Trump's. Donald Trump would be the biggest queen, he already is, if he was simply like, if he went to Juilliard and became a Broadway musical producer, okay? I'm telling you right now, instead of this route that he took, he would be living his best gay life. If he had taken that route and instead got welcomed by the New York high society. But instead, that drive for wealth and drive for power and endless need for acceptance and admiration unironically caused him to fail upwards and become the president. This is also part of the reason why he wasn't going to ever like pull a Cuba on New York, right? Because he is still, first and foremost, very much a New Yorker. He sees Zohran Mamdani as a guy who has been welcomed by that group. And as someone who has been welcomed by that group, as long as he is somewhat cordial to Donald Trump is going to respond positively. Donald Trump also wants recognition. Donald Trump wants recognition from this group, from these artists and the elite. Yes, only if he didn't get rejected from our art school sounds a little familiar. If you read, now I know this is not like materialism, but if you read into motivating factors, like amongst individual fascists, okay? Like fascist figureheads historically, narcissistic resentment is a major driving force every single time, whether it be Mussolini or Adolf Hitler or even Donald Trump. It is a huge driving principle. They get bullied, they're losers, everyone tells them that they're losers, and they're on a vengeance quest to prove everyone wrong or to dominate all of those who have called them losers. These are very insecurity-driven ideologies, okay? And yes, Mussolini being a violinist or not being as good, Mussolini being a failed violinist, I guess I'm trying to really make this meme stick at this point, or Adolf Hitler dropping out or not being able to get into art school is not dissimilar to the Trump route that we're seeing right now. In my headcanon, Donald Trump absolutely would have loved being a Broadway musical producer and get the admiration from all of the New York society elites, all the art producers. Sebastian Stan said the same thing when he was doing press for The Apprentice, the movie where he plays Trump from the 80s, not the TV show. Oh, yeah. It's a great movie, by the way. Mussolini got kicked out of the Socialist Party, so that works. That's part of it, yeah. The contemporary version of this also is the incel army. I think that's how a lot of, like, I think confidence, or rather lack of confidence and insecurity is one of the greatest driving forces for historical fascist movements and contemporary fascist movements. Straight up.
Back to the city. I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
Mr. President,
Mr. President,
Mr. President, Thank you, Mr. President. You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays.
Wait, what do you mean by New York elite? Because New York billionaires like Bill Ackman hate Zohran? What? Dude, you think Donald Trump likes Bill Ackman? No, I'm talking about like the movers and shakers of culture, not Not Bill Ackman. Nobody worth a damn respects Bill Ackman. I'm talking about the cultural elite. And I'm talking about old money, okay? Like Anderson Cooper's family, okay? The Vanderbilts. If you believe in great man theory, sure. No, I don't believe in great man theory at all. Contradictions understand capital also contribute. No, we're talking about the socialites. Anna Wintour. People like that. Like art, the creators of art, the creators of culture, the movers and shakers, not some random like cryptocurrency charlatans or anything. Donald Trump, I mean, when I say Graydon Carter, the sissy Graydon Carter, that's because Donald Trump talks about the sissy Graydon Carter. You know what I mean? Like that's a genuine point of animosity for him. That's something that occupies a lot of space in his mind. It sounds stupid, but it's true. He wants the people working at Condé Nast to like him. Yeah, I think the noise gate is finally working, by the way. I don't know how I made it work. Andrew Lloyd Webber's up there. Donald Trump has praised Andrew Lloyd Webber. Andrew Lloyd Webber used to live in Trump Tower. Donald Trump talked about how great it was that Andrew Lloyd Webber lived in Trump Tower. He talked about how shit it is that like some of these guys still like him, but they can't say it publicly. You know, you can never say you like Trump. Like, that's the type of shit.
Used to, but you used to
Phantom of the Opera. It was so beautiful. Hold on, I'm going to pull this back a little bit.
Tremendous setback for the city. I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
Mr. President, Mr. President,
Mr. President, you.
Thank you, Mr. President. You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would.
Ooh, that is, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that's such a good question and such a good answer. Oh my Lord, what are my ears hearing right now? What is coming out of this man's mouth? He said, yes, I would. Oh, that's an endorsement, folks. Donald Trump is endorsing woke Sharia. He's endorsing global jihad. He's endorsing Islamo-Gauchism. He's endorsing Islamo-communism. God damn, dude. Are you serious? Are you be for real right now? Oh, my Lord.
After the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job.
Okay, this goes even beyond my expectations. Never mind. I know I said I precog this already, but like this goes beyond. This goes beyond the precog. He is glazing. Oh my Lord.
But in many ways, you know, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie, I agreed on much more than people thought. And when he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders...
Michael Rappaport didn't even know that this meeting was taking place. He just felt a disturbance in the force and he had an aneurysm. Like, this is just like Hosborists are falling left and right. They're just like, oh, they're... Please, Mr. President, why? People are surprised, but if Mao or Stalin were still alive, Trump would 100% glaze them. Not even... That is 100,000% a lock. Are you kidding me? 100,000%. He'd be like, Mao, great guy, very powerful, very tall too. Didn't know how tall he was. Turns out I wouldn't expect it, but he was very tall. Very tall guy. Didn't like the birds. Don't quite get that part, but let me tell you, okay? The longest march, they're saying, I can't walk like that, but Mao, he was walking. He was walking quite a bit, and he unified the country. He dominated the forces, just like I dominate the Democrats. He pushed, and he got the Kuomintang. He got Chiang Kai-shek. Not a big fan of that guy. He's quite the liberal. Just like the Democrats, I pushed the Democrats towards the sea. And Mao pushed Chiang Kai-shek towards Formosa. Believe it, folks. These guys love them. These guys love them. The Chinese, they got little books. I hate reading. They love to read. The Chinese, they're big readers. They got his quotes. Someone needs to put my quotes like Art of the Deal in a book. And we got to give it to every single child. And he's got MAGA red. The book is red. It's little and it's red. And we need a similar red book. Very good guy. Mao Zedong. Very, very good guy. Maybe we'd do a golden book. Not a red one, but a golden one, even though I love the color red. They say red is the color of communism, but in America, red is the color of Trump. Quotations of Trump. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Yeah, what the fuck could you put? I guess quotations of Donald Trump would be his like greatest Twitter posts. You know what I mean?
Those voted for me. And I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. And, you know, it just turned out to be a statistical truth. But, no, I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question for you, but a very quick one for the mayor. Why did you fly here? Aren't trains greener?
Oh, God, I fucking cannot stand. What is this question, man? Just please, guys, don't you feel a sense of shame? Like, even for a little bit? Don't you feel a sense of shame at all? You're in the room with the fucking president, man. The president of the United States of America. And this is a unique meeting. It's a unique meeting. He's meeting with the fucking communist, socialist mayor of New York. And that's the fucking question you got? It's like, well, why did you use the most efficient mode of transportation? Okay, I don't know what that was, but we should be good now, right? Very strange things happening. Does this not worry you that they may have gotten the Mamdani? I wouldn't even accept this meeting if I were him. Oh, you wouldn't accept a meeting with the president if you were the mayor of New York? Well, that's cool. I don't think you have to worry about that, you know? Guys, look. This is it's fine. It's just some people have concerns and it's understandable. Okay. I don't think this is a bad thing. Okay. I don't think this is a bad thing, especially considering how well this played out. This is a very good thing. Okay. Not a bad thing, but a good one. That's my take. Especially considering that Donald Trump basically cut away at the unlimited amount of propaganda coming from the right flank, coming from the establishment Democrats against socialism, against Zohran Mamdani in particular. And it was a glaze fest. It was fucking glazed donuts all around, you know? Look at this Truth Social post. It was a great honor meeting Zohran Mamdani, the new mayor of New York City. Like, what are we doing? This is good. This is good. This is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but a good thing. You know what else is a good thing? A hype train that's incoming, ladies and gentlemen. Funny megaphonics joke. Chatter is just a temporarily embarrassed future mayor-elect of New York City. Okay, that is a funny megaphonics joke. That's crazy. The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers. Okay? The only form of revenue that I generate comes from you, the viewers. The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. Your voluntary subscriptions in the form of a $6 a month subscription or a free one in the form of a Twitch Prime that you can get by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account is the only thing that keeps the broadcast ad-free. And also, Kitty Tiger 500, thank you for the 10 gifted subs, and Crumple Hat, thank you for the 5 community gifted subs. A masterclass from Zohran, resetting terms of the debate for the left, disarming the enemy, blunting opposition forces, making moderates look like they don't know ball, making press seem out of touch with working people, that hot butter knife looking more like a sharp sword. Maybe it's a little bit too much glaze. It's $8. Please stop saying. Did you see Kai Cenat took APAC money? No, there's no fucking way, dude. What? Where is this coming from? What are you guys talking about? It's a meme, I assume.
I will use every form of transit, and I want to make sure that they're all affordable in New York City, and that's why making buses fast and free is a centerpiece of our campaign.
Did you?
There is a bus that goes.
Well, but I know, but if you flew, that's a lot quicker too. No.
Like, dude, look at that. Look at that. Trump is defending the boy. He said, yeah, it's a lot quicker than the bus. Yeah, like, what are you, fucking stupid? What a stupid question. Thank you. I can't believe it. What do you mean? Why don't you take the fucking bus? The bus actually emits carbon emissions. Why don't you bike to fucking Washington, D.C. from New York? What is this? I hate how stupid people are sometimes. This is one of those times. It's so stupid that even Donald Trump is like, come on, dude. Fucking come on. Why would you ask a passive-aggressive question like that? Isn't directly gargling Ford's balls more effective? No, it's just like, it's always the dumbest hypocrisy fishing that these guys engage with. And unfortunately, here's what it is, okay? This is a filter. I like to think of it as a filter. It means that you are incapable of nuanced thinking. It means that you are incapable. Hypocrisy baiting is a major filter. It's a filter for intellect. A lot of people who fancy themselves to be brilliant orators, skilled communicators, well-read individuals, high-minded critical thinkers are oftentimes filtered by this line of thinking. Okay? That's all this is. Oh, you said you're a socialist, but you're rich. Isn't that at odds with your worldview? No, it's not. Let's move on. It's a filter. Like, it's Soldier Goitelam has been talking about this a little bit about with respect to Zohran's dad, Mahmoud Mamdani, right? It's the I'll show you if I can find the exact one. Like, a lot of people will point to objectively correct analysis, like assuming that Soldier Goitelam, yeah. Another filter, for example, is analysis does not equal endorsement. People who look to analysis and automatically assume that it is endorsement are actually getting filtered, okay? The problem, of course, is that filter is nonsensical and ineffective. Because if everyone else is stupid, do you see what I'm saying? And there's no respect for actual genuine critical thinking because everyone else is stupid. So you might as well also be stupid with them, right? Father of Zohran Mamdani, guys, please don't forget to be proud. Unless you're a baby who can't take abstract thinking, he's objectively correct. Suicide bombing needs to be understood as a feature of modern political violence rather than the stigmatized mark of barbarism. We need to recognize the suicide bomber first and foremost as a category of soldier. This is from Good Muslim, Bad Muslim. If you are incapable of abstract thinking, that is a filter for you. If you're incapable of nuanced thinking, that is a filter. If you're incapable of looking at analysis as is, rather than immediately assuming it's a endorsement, that's a filter. Is the hype train frozen? I don't know. Test it out by gifting subs. Bear Huggies, thank you for the 5 gifted. Jihadist suicide bombers are much closer in lineage to the 1960s revolutionaries than they are to lynch mobs. They are orchestrated, deliberate attacks which sacrifice one's own life in pursuit of a greater goal. Whether you agree with those goals, I hope you don't, is irrelevant. Here, the greatest question of all time is a massive filter that actually, I think, made a lot of people frustrated with me after October 7, for example, was, do you think that Hamas and the Palestinian National Resistance Front actually had a reason? Whether you agree with their methods or their reason or not doesn't matter. Do you think that they were behaving in a logical manner where they had an action and a reaction that wanted to provoke some kind of response on October 7 or not? This is the problem. Many people do not want to comprehend that whether you agree with those people, whether you agree with those methods, whether you agree with their worldview, whether you agree with their ambitions or not, do not want to assume that their enemies are capable of any kind of logic, any kind of thinking whatsoever. They want to assume that the rationale behind it was non-existent. It was simply pure barbarism. They wanted to like rape and behead Jewish people. Like that is the way that they want to operate. That's just pure racism. It's a filter. You are stunting your mental faculties in the interest of cope. You will never be able to make change or solve anything if you are engaging in this self-soothing. Okay? Oh, all of our enemies happen to be barbaric monsters that have no discernible reason, no identifiable goals, and they're simply operating on pure barbarism for the sake of violence. Okay? It's a thought-terminating way to operate. It's a thought-terminating cliche. It's a thought-terminating way to operate. It's oftentimes very racist as well, because that's what racism is a thought-terminating cope. Do you know how much planning and consideration and understanding of modern machinery it took to orchestrate something like 9/11? So many collection action problems had to be overcame for that to succeed. It took years. These scare tactics really show you how much the global war on terror depended on Americans and Westerners believing basic political slogans at full face value without any attempts at deeper insight. To quote Susan Sontag, let's mourn together, but let's not be stupid together. One of the best versions of this, of course, is they hate us because they ain't us. 9/11 happened because they hate us because they ain't us. That is literally the collective understanding, like the most common collective understanding of 9/11. And this kind of idiocy unironically moves people away from critical thinking. It's very frustrating. I hate that shit. Okay, chill, but dunking on my poor Americans is hard enough already. No, I'm not. I'm just saying, as Americans, we all have to be better. Okay? We have to be better. I want Americans to be smarter about this. Another filter example. Mark Milley goes in front of Congress and they ask him, why is Mao Zedong required reading at West Point Academy? And Mark Milley says, of course we have to read Mao Zedong. We have to read everyone. Okay? Like, you have to understand how other people think. You have to understand what they're motivated by, right? What did the Republicans do after that? They said he was a Maoist. They said he was woke and gay. It's insane. You're like a caveman at that point. You're like, you're reading the enemy? You're reading books? You're reading books of the ideological enemy? Oh, don't do that. Americans unironically are cooking themselves. We're constantly slamming our heads into the concrete wall, hitting ourselves with frying pans over and over again so that we can coexist and cohabitate this space with a bunch of other racist morons. It blows my mind. I've read so much about how empires fall, okay? Extensively about the Ottoman Empire when I was growing up, because that's what was taught in schools. And it is the exact same pattern over and over again. A bloated, backwards thinking, formerly powerful, major global superpower refusing to evolve, forgetting the dynamism that was required to be a great world power. Just falling into this death spiral. Americans do not recognize that is the environment that we're in, and I think a big part of that has happened because of the comfortable position that capitalist ideologues achieved in the aftermath of the dissolution of the USSR. Yeah, the Wow Mao Bin Laden take that caused massive crash houses evergreen. Do Americans actually know why Bin Laden did all that, or do they all believe he hated that they can vote or something? Or the same principle, like, oh, we invaded Afghanistan because they hated our free speech. Really? You think that's why we invaded Afghanistan? What the does a goat herder have to do in the mountains of Korengal Valley? What the does that guy have to do with American free speech? He's never met an American. He doesn't even know what a American is until there is a corn-fed Nebraska boy sitting on top of his house with like $175,000 worth of gear, knocking on his door, busting through his door and harassing the out of his whole family. That's the first time that motherfucker has seen an American, okay? Lots of filters.
You know, I mean, he's working very hard for him to be. That's a very
Palpatine take? I don't even know what that means.
You know, the plane takes you 30 minutes and driving takes you a long time.
Yeah, it's such a basic. Exactly. Again, I know I went on this like long tangent about filters, but I think it's important to recognize this. Like, this is a thought terminating, idiotic ass line of questioning. Okay. Oh, why didn't you take the bus instead of the plane to DC? Don't be stupid.
Clear up some confusion around a Washington Post report. There was this explosive report that the Coast Guard is no longer going to characterize swastikas and nooses as hate symbols. DHS called that a lie and fake news. Can you clear up?
I don't know anything about it. When was this written?
I think yesterday.
Well, look, the Coast Guard's an incredible group of people. I know them very well. We just ordered a lot of new Coast Guard cutters, beautiful, the most magnificent ship. They look like yachts with lots of guns on them. So I don't know. I haven't seen any report like that, but certainly we want them to remain a great force, and they are.
Mr. President, I'm a peacemaker, and you did a peace in all the 9 months around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about the concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do.
Do you agree that President Trump did do a peace and he worked hard to make the peace? Because he worked hard to do the peace in the Middle East and everywhere. Do you agree with that?
I appreciate all efforts towards peace, and I shared with President Trump that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hillside Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights, and I know that still today those are being violated, and that continues to be work that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
Mr. President, question for Mr. Thank you, Mr. President. Do you view the mayor-elect as the true leader of the Democrat Party? And do you think Leader Schumer's and Leader Jeffries, have to follow his lead?
Well, look, I hope they have great leaders. This is a man that right now I think is focused in New York City. I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him, but I really think he has a chance to do a great job. But I'll let you answer that. You consider yourself the leader of the Democrats. I think it's more appropriate for him.
I consider myself the next mayor of New York City, and I keep my horizons firmly on New York City, and I appreciate the meeting with the president, which focused again on the 5 boroughs and whether New Yorkers could afford to live there.
By the way, being the mayor of New York City is a big deal.
Absolutely.
I always said, one of the things I would love to be someday is the mayor of New York City. Being the mayor of New York, and especially now, because I think you're at really a turning point, one way or the other. It could go great, or it can go.
Hasan is missing the arm taps and the smiles. Brother, I'm in the room and I can hear it. I don't know if you heard it. Zohran Mamdani talked about Israel committing a genocide in the Oval. Yeah. And not only did he do that, but Donald Trump literally smiles and nods along. Look. Rewind time.
Around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about...
Why is he nodding? Yo, you can hear it, but can't see it? No, I can see it because I can hear it. My point is, he's glazing so hard. He's glazing so hard that you can hear him agree with him without actually seeing it. Is craziness. This goes even beyond the fascism moniker being used as simple political football. Okay, I will say, I will say, like, Trump could have easily just been like, yeah, everybody calls everybody fascist. Who cares? Whatever, right? That's just politics. But this is, I think, far more consequential. Okay, he doesn't stop him. Anyone else that says some shit We know how Trump operates, right? We know how Trump operates in moments like this. Anyone else that would say something in his presence that he knows is bad to say, he would have just physically stopped them. He would have been like, nope, I don't agree with this. I think you're out of your mind. You're wrong, and everyone knows you're wrong. Like, he's just sitting there, not interjecting, and even nodding along. That's crazy. Like, think about how he treated Zelensky as opposed to Zohran Mamdani. Think about how he treats the Democrats, like establishment Democrats, as opposed to Zohran Mamdani. As Zohran Mamdani sits there and is like, Israel's doing a genocide, and America's funding said genocide. It's actually unacceptable, which is true, by the way.
Concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do.
Do you agree that President Trump did do a peace and worked hard to make the peace? Because he worked hard to do the peace in the Middle East and everywhere. Do you agree with that?
I appreciate all efforts towards peace.
Oh God, the second line of questioning is so unbearable. Come on, will you give Donald Trump the credit? Will you give Donald Trump the credit? Okay, dude.
And I shared with President Trump that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hill.
Yeah, bro, when you brought it up at that talk with the establishment Dems, they immediately deflected while Trump is like, hell yeah, brother. Yeah. I can't even fuck a word in edgewise about Israel doing a genocide amongst Democrats who are supposed to be like ideologically aligned with me. I got more pushback by the Pod Save America panel than Zohran Mamdani is here next to Donald Trump. How is that possible?
Side Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights. And I know that still today those are being violated, and that continues to be work that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
Mr. President.
Because liberals are garbage in all shades, Trump can at least read the room. No, I think it's totally unacceptable, though. I think it's completely unacceptable. I think it's unacceptable that like liberals are losing this conversation to right-wingers who at least have the presence of mind to step out of the way when people are saying stuff like this. You understand? And by the way, liberals are very happy about this meeting as well. Look at Brian Stelter. Trump just deflated months of incredibly hostile Fox News and MAGA media commentary about Zohran Mamdani. The official DNC account is farming Zohran now. No, they have been. They've been farming Zohran. They've been farming Zohran for a while, even though the establishment Democrats are not. Because remember, the Democrats' Twitter account is being is probably like a younger staffer that controls that account. Look at the fantasy world that these guys live in, by the way. Someone said that sometimes Trump supporters understand Trump the least, and I'm beginning to understand given the reaction to the Mamdani meeting. Yeah, it's true. Trump supporters understand Trump the least. I think I have a better understanding of Donald Trump than the average MAGA supporter in terms of what moves him, in terms of what his ambitions are. I think we here in this community have a better grasp on who Trump is than his own fans do. I think the average liberal even understands Donald Trump better than the average MAGA Trump supporter. And the reason why I say that is because at least they are whether on accident or on ideological grounds, they are antagonistic to Donald Trump because they recognize that Donald Trump is narcissistic, selfish, and also very much disinterested in improving the lives of even his own base of support. Scenario, Todd Starnes says, Mamdani enters the Oval Office today only to be greeted by Tom Homan, who then personally escorts the communists back to Uganda. And then Todd Starnes, after the interview, or after the meeting, I thought Mamdani was supposed to be a fascist dictator. What the heck is going on at the White House? What happened? You're not supposed to believe in this stuff. You're supposed to cynically say this, not actually believe in it. Why did Zelensky receive a harsher welcome at the White House than Mamdani? Interesting. If socialists are doing a good job, then I guess nobody needs to vote them out during the midterms. If you're a Republican, why not just stay home in 2026 and 2028 since Mamdani's policies are amazing? I'm confused. No need to oppose the left, I guess. I guess socialism is comfortable now. No need to vote for the GOP in 2026 is the message I'm getting from that. Am I missing something? For those who don't know, Laura Loomer is literally like a trusted and close advisor to Donald Trump, in spite of the fact that under Trump 1, she was banned from every single social media application for being unimaginably Islamophobic, and famously chained herself to the doors of Twitter headquarters after being banned from Twitter. That was a fun little Laura Loomer moment. And Donald Trump during the election cycle called her a free spirit when people were like, why the f do you have this psycho on Air Force One? Why is she giving you advice on how to do debates? Yes, she actually chained herself to only one door of Twitter headquarters, so people were still able to go in and out, despite the fact that she was also being a psycho. Oh, she also put the yellow Star of David on her shirt, implying that it was just like the Holocaust that she was banned from Twitter.
A different direction, and I think you really have a chance to make it great.
Mr. President, you say you love New York City. Mr. Mamdani, does New York City love President Trump?
New York City loves a future that is affordable. And I can tell you that there were more New York in the most recent presidential election because of that focus on cost of living. And I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
I got a lot of votes. One more. Go ahead. One or two more. Go ahead. I tell you, the press has eaten this thing up. You know, I've had a lot of meetings with the heads of major countries. Nobody cared. This meeting that you people have gone crazy. You know, outside you have hundreds of people waiting. This is just a small little group. For some reason, the press has found this to be a very interesting meeting. The biggest people in the world, they come over from countries nobody cares. But they did care about this meeting, and it was a great meeting. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. President, I was going to ask you exactly that. Why do you think there's so much more, so much excitement around this than even some foreign leaders?
Because I think he's different. All right, I think he's different, and that can be in a very positive way. But I think he's different than, your typical guy runs, wins, becomes mayor maybe, and nothing exciting. Because he has a chance to really do something great for New York. New York is at a very critical point, and he does need the help of the federal government to really succeed, and we're going to be helping him. But he's different than, your average candidate. He came out of nowhere. I said he has a great campaign manager standing over there. He came out of nowhere. Would you start off at one or two?
Oh my God!
I watched. I said, who is this guy? He was at 1, then he was at 3, then he was at 5, then he was at 9. Then he went up to 17. I said, that's getting a little bit interesting, right? And then all of a sudden he wins a primary that nobody expected he was going to win. It's a great tribute. I mean, it's an amazing thing that he did.
And I'll just add.
Oh my God. You think Trump watched the stream, chat? Chat, you think Trump saw the Zohran stream? It was at 1% and then that's crazy. That's crazy. He said this guy's a great campaign manager. He's glazing everything. He's glazing every aspect of Zohran Mamdani's life right now. What the hell is going on? The glazery is open for business? Bro, this shit is Krispy Kreme. It's Krispy Kreme. Is Trump actually just propagandized from the media he's consumed? Yes. This guy Zohran. Very cool guy. Very good guy. Like him quite a bit. Really brilliant campaigner. I see a lot of myself in him. I mean, that actually does make sense, though, because, he does see Zohran as a kindred spirit in some ways, because Zohran Mamdani went after the establishment Democrats and went after the Republicans and Donald Trump and got a lot of enmity in the process. And Donald Trump himself also went after establishment Republicans and the Democratic Party and the media in order to secure his place. The biggest indication that he likes him is that he immediately started posting pics of him on True Social. Yeah. Remember what he did after Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. He posted AI videos of Hakeem Jeffries as a Mexican man wearing a sombrero after the first shutdown meeting took place. After the Zohran meeting here, he literally posted side-by-side photos and was like, had a wonderful time. One of the most handsome politicians. He looks straight out of Central Casting.
Just one thing to what the president...
It is a testament to Zohran Mamdani's skills as a communicator. Something that we also saw when he met with the New York financial elite, if you recall, right? Zohran Mamdani meets with the New York finance chiefs, right? And what was the takeaway from that meeting? Everyone was frustrated that they really liked him. They were like, this guy is going to take our bag, but we love the guy. We couldn't find anything to get mad about. He's a charmer. And I do think, I think him being a charmer and him being somewhat skilled as a communicator in a otherwise barren land of horrible communicators in the realm of American politics gives him a huge advantage. I think that's what it is. Mamdani is him. He will continue to be him. He is Timothy Chalamet. Okay, I don't want you guys to glaze him this hard, though. Okay? Because remember, there are going to be instances where he up. There's already stuff that he's done that I disagree with and I don't think is smart. Can you please rewind a bit? Why? We already saw him eat it. Here.
And then all of a sudden he wins a primary.
Look. Here, let's run it again.
He came out of nowhere. Would you start off at 1 or 2? And then I watched. I said, who is this guy? He was at 1, then he was at 3, then he was at 5, then he was at 9. Then he went up to 17. I said, that's getting a little bit interesting, right? And then all of a sudden he wins a primary that nobody expected he was going to win. It's a great tribute. I mean, it's an amazing thing that he did.
And I'll just add one thing to what the president said. Is one thing I also appreciated is in our meeting to appreciate a portrait of FDR and the incredible work that was done with the New Deal and also in thinking about what it can look like when the federal government and New York City government work together to deliver on a...
You're just jealous of Mamdani, but it's okay. We'll always prefer you. No. I'm not jealous of Zohran Mamdani. Yeah, I'm jealous of Zohran because he got to hang out with my favorite politician, Donald Trump. And I only get to hang out with a wax figure of Donald Trump.
Portability can be transformative.
You know, we have a great portrait of FDR that I found in the vault.
I just had the realization that GOP are doing this Zohran what Dems did to Trump early on, the Pied Piper strategy. I think it will backfire much in the same way. No. I don't think the GOP is Pied Pipering Zohran. I think that I think Republicans are a lot smarter. I think the GOP is a lot smarter than we give them credit in terms of winning elections. Their policies are horrible. And the very fact that they win any elections at all means that they are very good at doing politics. Okay? And no, I don't think that they're Pied Pipering Zohran. I think that they're genuinely fearful of Zohran. And they were a little caught off guard by what Donald Trump did here. And I certainly don't think Donald Trump is doing Pied Piper over Zohran. I think Donald Trump genuinely is trying to take, what do you mean by that? The Pied Piper strategy was the one that Hillary Clinton applied to Donald Trump. They thought Donald Trump was an incredibly weak and ineffective candidate, and they thought Donald Trump would be the best possible candidate to go up against Hillary Clinton because they were unable to read the room. They did not realize that an anti-establishment ticket in 2016 would have been victorious. Okay? And in the primaries, they leaned into Donald Trump. The Democrats did. Hillary Clinton did. In the primary structure, they basically glazed Donald Trump and boosted Donald Trump's profile. The media played ball with this as well. The media also egged on Donald Trump, thinking that Donald Trump would be defeated easily by Hillary Clinton, right? It was a spectacular failure since Donald Trump won. Democrats have tried to do that as well, but I don't think Donald Trump is trying to do that with Zohran here. Donald Trump always maintained the position that Bernie Sanders would have been a harder opponent to beat. POTUS has good moments, but this is an all-timer. Trump smiled at Mamdani in a way he never has with JD. Meanwhile, he's outside the room grasping for any possible way to still glaze him, lol. POTUS has a lot of good moments, but this is an all-timer. I love that that is true, by the way, that Donald Trump is actually unironically infatuated with Zohran Mamdani in a way that he is not with JD Vance.
That was missing.
Eric Adams reaction? You got an Eric Adams reaction? What's funny about these guys is like Eric Adams, Andrew Cuomo, they're all compromised and they all want this level of respect from Donald Trump and they will never get it because they're weak, they're ineffective. Donald Trump hates them. He will use them. He will use them because he has leverage over them. But with Zohran Mamdani, he doesn't have leverage over Zohran Mamdani because Zohran Mamdani won convincingly against all odds. So he's basically there to take away a little bit of that shine, to stand in the spotlight alongside the affordability candidate, to basically present himself as also someone who's invested in affordability. Do you understand what's going on here? That's why the dynamic is very different. He loves winners.
To the best of my knowledge, he's a Democrat. And when the mayor saw that portrait, he said, "Sir, do you mind if I have a picture taken by that portrait?" It's an amazing portrait. I hope the picture comes out good. But it's an amazing portrait in the cabinet room. So he's a big fan of the New Deal, I guess, and of FDR. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said that you both spoke about crime. There are many police officers set to come off the rolls at the end of this year in New York City. Are you going to allow those police to be replaced with police officers, actual cops? And are you going to require that that happens? Would there be some consequence if the
Well, I hope
staffing?
it happens, but again, that's going to be ultimately the mayor's decision.
What's your answer?
Is that I look forward to delivering public safety with the NYPD, and I've said over the course of our campaign that we have the number of police officers today. They are the
What's
ones
that number?
that's budgeted at about 35,000 headcount. And I think the key thing is that we have to make it easier for police to focus on police work, not ask them to respond to 200,000 mental health calls a year.
So is that a reduction from what you're at right now? Are you committing to maintaining the same level of cops?
I've committed over the course of the campaign to maintain the 35,000. That's the headcount that we had through the
And
campaign.
not replace them with caseworkers, social workers?
No, I've said that's the headcount that we want. What we need to do is make sure they can focus on serious crime.
And he just retained a great police commissioner, I believe, right?
Yes, we did. Commissioner Tisch.
If the newspapers are correct.
That one they're correct about.
He retained, I think, somebody that is she's a good friend of some of the people in my family, of Ivanka, and they say she's really good, really competent, and he just retained her, so that's a good sign.
Mr. President, are there still topics that you see the two of you disagreeing on in the future? And do you think you'll have more meetings like this?
There will be topics that we disagree on. I think we'll probably come to a conclusion, and ultimately, he'll convince me, or I'll convince him. You know, it's for the good of New York. Ultimately, it's for the good of New York. I don't care about affiliations or parties or anything else. I want to see if this city could be unbelievable, if he could be a spectacular success, I'd be very happy.
Do you think you guys will meet more in the future too?
So,
Do you think you'll meet again in the future, throughout the administration?
I think we will. I think we will. I hope we do. I enjoyed the meeting. We had a great meeting. Please.
Mr. President, Republican Elise Stefanik has campaigned multiple times by calling Zohran Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist right now in the Oval Office?
No, I don't. But she's out there campaigning, and you say things sometimes in a campaign.
Isn't that sort of divisive?
She's a very capable person.
Isn't
But
that a kind of label?
you really have to ask her about that. But I don't particularly. I think I met with I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again. And I can say again, because New York was great. When I came down to Washington initially, the city was so hot. It was doing great. We were having some telltale signs of problems. We had a mayor that was not doing a great job, but still, it was moving along. And it went bad. It really went, pretty bad. And I think it's been at lower points, but it went pretty bad. I think he can bring it back. Now, the question is, will he bring it back all the way? Will he bring it back greater than ever before, which is, I guarantee, that's his wish. I think he wants to make it greater than ever before. And if he can, we'll be out there cheering. I'll be cheering for him. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody.
You chose not to answer the question about sitting on
Thank you very much.
I care.
God, I love the hog meltdown. God, I love the hog tears. Oh my God, what a time. What a life. What a time to be alive. Trump just destroyed our campaign by saying he's not a jihadist. Yep. I mean, I think that, yeah, I didn't miss anything. I was listening while I was pooping, okay? I was listening while I was pooping. The bathroom is right next to right next to my desk. Calm down. I guess I missed the dab up. Look at this still from the meeting. It's so over. Yeah. Find you somebody who looks at you like Donald Trump looks at Zohran Mamdani. With the door open is criminal. I fixed the noise gate so you can't hear shit. They cut the part where Trump said good answer. I'm telling you, Mike Johnson, we're going to make Zohran Mamdani the face of the Democratic Party. Donald Trump. And what a beautiful face it is. Look at that smile. We love Zohran Mamdani, don't we, folks? I look forward to working with him. He's going to make New York City great again. He's going to make New York City great again. Trump is trying to use Zohran favorability to his favor. Yes. Zohran Mamdani is a candidate that won on affordability. Donald Trump recognizes how important that is right now. It's a major area of weakness for him because he hasn't done on affordability, even though he ran on affordability. And that is why he is sucking off Zohran Mamdani's penis. Okay? In the Oval, like he's Bubba. You missed the last question. It is not included in the video, by the way. What was the last question? Not included in the video. I think it's weird because Trump literally defended Zohran, calling him a despot who betrayed the country. Like, why would he do that? Just because he likes winners? He's doing that because he has to be aligned. He has to be at least aesthetically aligned with Zohran Mamdani because he is trying to get a little bit of that shine. That's it. I think it's more of a bending the knee to him than vice versa. I know everyone will say, oh no, Zohran is bending the knee to Donald Trump. But I think it's the opposite. Trump glazed Zohran at the end, but the video feed cut it off. Wait, really?
Jewish safety, rooting out and protecting Jewish New York.
He said that was good. Oh, there you go. Look how happy he is. Look at his face. Look at his face. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I told you he was going to be way, way nicer to Zohran in person. This doesn't mean he's not going to keep daggering him. He will. He will keep playing. He'll keep playing the song and dance like, oh yeah, Zohran Mamdani, he's crazy. He's a communist. He's a radical communist Marxist. He's out of his mind, whatever. Very mixed feelings on this White House meeting, says Zach Sage Fox. This is Andrew Cuomo. This is Andrew Cuomo's social media guy. Remember him? Very mixed feelings on this White House meeting. I love when people from different sides come together and work on issues for Americans, but Zohran is a blatant terrorist sympathizer with views that are vehemently anti-American and out of the mainstream. Socialism is no joke. I wish the president pushed him to reform and moderate. Didn't even try. Oh, that's glorious. This makes me very happy. I'm not going to lie. This makes me very, very, very happy. Dude, I was late to this because I just saw the TikToks Trump talking well about Mamdani, which is a W, so I'm excited to see your opinions. I mean, don't make no mistake. This is not real, okay? This is not... Why did Trump invite Mamdani after having a mental breakdown after he won? What do you think? Because two reasons. One, because he can't destroy New York, okay? For his own personal... He can't destroy New York because that's where he's from. And also because Zohran Mamdani is the mayor of New York. And Donald Trump also has to literally... Like, Donald Trump is a good politician partially for this reason, okay? I hate him. I disagree with him. I think he's a clown. I think he's incompetent. I think he's an animal. I think he's a fascist. However, he is a quote-unquote good politician if you recognize that he is getting whatever his agenda is across, right? He gets to dominate. He gets to do whatever the fuck he wants. And a part of that is because he has an eye for talent, right? He has an eye for talent. He knows who to play ball with. He knows how to push and pull a little bit. It's like he's a New York real estate social demon. He likes to be around people that he thinks are cool. He recognizes game. He is, after all, like in his life, the only thing that he's been successful at is reality TV show guy. Okay? That is the only thing he's been good at. He has been an abject failure on every other front. But as a reality TV show guy, he has an eye for talent. Like, that was literally his job. The only thing he's been successful at outside of just like being a fascist, unfortunately for all of us, is being a reality TV show guy who would fire and hire people. Like, that was the whole concept around the Apprentice. Like, his whole job was to just look at who is talented and recognize talent and keep them on the show.
A lot of smart people, starting with the early primaries against some very tough people, very smart people. And he beat them easily, and I congratulated him.
You referred to Mr. Mamdani as a communist. Could you describe why
All right.
you feel that
I'm gonna
way.
get my
And
coffee.
also,
I hope
will
the
you
stream
do
doesn't
anything
fall
to
apart again.
stop him from arresting Prime Minister Netanyahu if he visits New York?
Well, we didn't discuss your second part of the question, and on your first part, I mean, he's got views that are a little out there, but who knows? I mean, we're going to see what works, or he's going to change also. We all change. I changed a lot. From when I first came to office. It's now quite a while ago. It's quite a while. My first term was great. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We're doing even better now. We're doing much better now than we did even in the first term. And I can tell you some of my views have changed. And we had discussions on some things. I'm not going to discuss what they were, but that I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually. And some very liberal people, he won't surprise them because they already like him.
And Mr.
Bro, he's glazing Zohran. Of course he's glazing Zohran. It's the same reason why he always talks about how he likes Claudia Scheinbaum. He's like, she's a very powerful lady. Very powerful lady. Very powerful. This lady, she's got power. She's very good. Donald Trump recognizes someone with talent and instantly, anyone with talent, anyone with power, anyone with something that they have offered to Donald Trump, he loves them. It could be Arab Sheik, who's giving him $10 billion. He is Mr. What will you do for me? He also, and I think Michael from Pennsylvania is right when he says this, he is a New York nationalist. I think Michael from Pennsylvania is absolutely correct with that statement. He likes charisma, and he also really loves New York. This was part of the reason why I thought there was no way he was going to actually cook New York. He's Mr. New York. That deep down inside, the guy that wants to be loved, and admired and respected by the New York elite has never gone away. Trump also loves a winner. It makes total sense. It makes total sense that he would be he would be treating Zohran like this. 10 billion not for free. He doing what they want. What? Does this worry you that Zohran is moving to the center? No, not entirely. I mean, there is stuff that he's already done. There's stuff that he's already doing about like Jessica Tisch, like keeping Jessica Tisch on board, and things that I disagree with him on in terms of like how he has dealt with the Chiose situation. But this is not one of those instances. But like I said, only time will tell. Remember, this not even the mayor yet. Like, he's technically not even the mayor yet. He's the mayor-elect, right? Wait till January for him to be mayor first. It is obvious, though, that like there's a big difference. Like, I mean, for the record, this is also disrespectful. Like, what Trump is doing here is making him stand. It's disrespectful. That's just how he does it, though, right? If you get to sit in the cuck chair next to him in the other room, that's the highest level of respect Trump has for you. If he makes you stand next to his desk, then he's still disrespecting you. This is maximum disrespect. Putting those Trump 2028 hats on right in front of them, specifically for this image. That is like, he just brought you in for a photo op. You know what I mean? Not wanting Xi to run isn't centrist. That's such a weak take. Wait, what? Is that what I said? I said I have disagreements with him on that issue because I don't think you're burning tremendous political and social capital. I think as far as the opportunity goes, as far as the timing of it, I think the momentum is there, and I think the weakness is there, especially on the national front. So I don't think it's as big of a long shot as the way these guys see it, in spite of Hakeem Jeffries' overwhelming popularity in his own district. I want Xi to run separate from the DSA. There is no separate from the DSA run. Anyway, let's continue.
It sounds like you had a productive discussion, but just days ago you referred to President Trump as a despot who had betrayed the country. You said you'd be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda.
Shaking hands and smiling with the man who oversaw the genocide you campaigned on opposing is disgusting, no matter how much of a power play it is. Wait, what? Dog, what the are you saying? He's the president. What are you saying right now? Yo, Y'all need to wake up, okay? Some of you unironically behave in the crustiest, most anarchist, most unbearable, hyper woke, rad lib loser ways possible. That's the president, okay? If the Hamas political bureau can sit across the table from dudes who called the assassination of their children a week prior, then you have to develop a better understanding of how this stuff works. Okay? What the are you talking about? Donald Trump is saying he's going to shut off money flowing into New York City. You have to talk to the president. That's so, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind at the insanity. You have to be 12, right? Like this is the, you know how we always say, oh yeah, that's funny, you're 12. When we talk about like Republicans, I think that's like the left's version of being 12. The left's version of being 12 is when you're like, oh, excuse me, I can't believe you're platforming Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Like that is your version of being a 12-year-old. Someone's in a very bad mood today. I mean, I'm sorry. This is, when I see chats like that, I do understand why so many of these annoying liberals are constantly talking about how unrealistic my worldview is about politics or whatever, because they met someone like that in the wild and they just have never watched my stream, I guess. So they automatically assume that that's the type of person that I am, I guess. Like that's the time I'm on. Like brother, he's got a responsibility for, you know, what, how many people live in New York? 8.8 million people live in New York City, okay? According to the 2020 Census Bureau. Not Census Bureau. He has a responsibility for all of those people, to take care of all of those people. You sound like a Cory Booker voter right now. This is your liberal take, bro. You're a liberal. Man, shut your bitch ass up. 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 He's like, dude, I don't understand. Why wouldn't he actually instantly arm the NYPD as the revolutionary Marxist-Leninist vanguard and go attack the president? What is he supposed to do? He's the mayor of New York. Shut up. Shut the up. You are stupid, and you need to know you're stupid. If that is your take, you are a stupid person, okay? And you have to also understand, like, what do I always say about Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries? I'm never like, oh, I can't believe they're meeting with the president. I'm saying I can't believe they're not actually dealing with the president. You are 12. You are 12. You're a 12-year-old. You have to be a 12-year-old. I think I'm still cynical of Donald Trump. I think he recognizes talent, he recognizes charisma, and he wanted to lean into it. But I don't necessarily think that this will yield super positive results or anything. But we already saw this.
Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve your relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
And I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting. Maybe I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together. Yes, please.
Mr. President, Anthony Marshak from MTV Lebanon. I would like to ask you a question about the Middle East regarding, you said that Hezbollah in Lebanon is not in a good position, and Lebanon now is the final unresolved after Gaza and Syria. Given your assessment, like, what do you say for the Lebanese today? It's the Independence Day in Lebanon, and what is your next move to push toward disarmament? The disarmament of Hezbollah.
Well, we are pushing for total disarmament of Hamas and, frankly, everybody else. And we actually have peace in the Middle East. As you know, the King of Saudi Arabia just left yesterday. We had some great meetings, and he's made a contribution toward the United States of more than $1 trillion. We have now over $20 trillion coming in. No country has ever had anything like that, not even close. If you go to 2 trillion or 1 trillion, it's a lot. We have 20 or 21 trillion dollars. I think that Hezbollah has been a problem in Lebanon, big problem. We're working with Lebanon. We're working with everybody in the Middle East. That's another thing I think we have in common. We want to see peace in the Middle East, and we actually have now, for the first time, peace in the Middle East after 3,000 years. And now we're going to refine it, and I think you're going to see some very positive things happen.
There is a potential to invite the Lebanese president to meet you to the White House.
I would do that, absolutely. And if the mayor would like to be here for that meeting, because I know he feels very strongly. I think you feel very, very strongly about peace in the Middle East.
We desperately.
Can you explain why making him stand is a maximum disrespect? No, it's just disrespect. Trump is Mr. Power Play, dude. He cares. He's like the strong handshake is profoundly important guy. Okay, he believes in the power of a strong handshake. Like that's the type of he is. That's the type of time he's on, right? So for that reason, a lot of this stuff has symbolism for him. Making Zohran Mamdani stand upright next to him while he sits at the desk is a power play. Okay. However, there is a more disrespectful thing that he could do. It's not the maximum disrespect. Like at least he's like making him respond to questions and stuff instead of just like making him stand there quietly, you know? I think part of the, or you know, using him as isn't all that kind of gay law? I mean, it's like old school businessman shit, like boomer parents that talk about the importance of a strong handshake. Like you could make him sit on the floor, crisscross applesauce. I take it Morris Trump is too old and frail to stand now. No. He does that on purpose. If he wants to like see you as a peer or someone who he actually has to play ball with, like he'll just sit. They'll both sit. Like think about MBS. Think about the conversation between MBS. That's the highest level of respect that Trump offers.
And that's something that I shared with the president, that when I spoke to New Yorkers who had voted for the president last November on Hillside Avenue and Fordham Road, I asked them why. I heard again and again two major reasons. One was that they wanted an end to forever wars. They wanted an end to the taxpayer dollars we had funding violations of human rights, and they wanted to address the cost of living crisis. And I appreciated the chance to discuss both of those things.
You said a lot of my voters actually voted for him, and I'm okay with that.
I have this hat as well.
I'll do that. I'll sign it. Give it to me. I'll sign it in a minute. That's pretty good.
Mr. President, you've threatened to send federal troops to New York City. You both have differences when it comes to ICE agents in New York City. Mr. Mamdani, you've called ICE a rogue government entity. I wonder how you reconcile your differences on both of those issues.
Well, I think we're going to work them out. And I think that if we have known murderers and known drug dealers and some very bad people, you know, we want to get them out. And the mayor wants to have peace. We discussed this at great length, actually, maybe more than anything else. He wants to have a safe New York. Ultimately, a safe New York is going to be a great New York. If it's not safe, no matter how well we do with pricing and with anything else, we can talk about anything you want. If you don't have safe streets, it's not going to be a success. So we're going to work together. We're going to make sure that if there are horrible people there, we want to get them out. I think he wants to get them out maybe more than I do. So we'll work together. We discussed it at great length. Yes, please.
Yeah, two questions, if I may. One for you, Mr. President, on BBC in a second. But first of all, for the mayor-elect. You're both from different parts of the political spectrum. You're both populists, though, and I just wonder to what extent the president's campaign style, his techniques, his social media use inspired any part of your campaign.
Well, I actually told the president that, you know, so much of the focus of our campaign has been on the cost of living crisis. And when we asked those New Yorkers who had voted for the president, when we saw an increase in his numbers in New York City, that came back to the same issue: cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And they spoke about the cost of groceries, the cost of rent, the cost of...
This is such a good way to... Oh, God. This salesman, dude. He really is. One of the best ways to convince a person is not to force your opinions down their throat, but it's instead to make it seem like they came to this conclusion. So for Zohran Mamdani, one of the best ways that he constantly talks about the affordability situation is when he ties it back to Donald Trump by stating that Donald Trump actually ran a pretty effective campaign that won on the issues of affordability. He makes it seem as though they are completely aligned on this issue. Now, of course, Donald Trump hasn't done dick about affordability, but it's also true that he actually ran on affordability. So Trump knows that this is successful. Trump knows that this is an issue that he has to address. So he can't just sit there. He can't just sit there and be like, no, I don't care about affordability.
The cost of childcare. And too often politicians are looking to lecture to New Yorkers what they should care about as opposed to listen. And when we spoke to those voters who voted for President Trump, we heard them speak about cost of living. We focus on that same cost of living. And that's where I am really looking forward to delivering for New Yorkers in partnership with the president on the affordability agenda.
And I think we have to work a little bit. We talked about Con Edison. We have to.
Look, he likes him. Oh my God, brother, you can, like, I see it. He likes him, dude. He's cooking. Trump is in a unique predicament because he's obviously withering away with his support and his base. He has to beef up his populist bona fides. Zohran Mamdani has a lot of motion and a lot of momentum. So obviously this is a great opportunity for him to lean into that. Just to grab onto it. Okay? That's it. He also, I think, sees this as a decent opportunity to drive a bigger wedge in the Democratic Party. Trump sees this as an opportunity to shit on Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, who he knows vehemently dislike Zohran Mamdani. He's going to switch up on Zohran just like he did with Hamas and the Houthis after praising them. Yeah. But for the time being, let's enjoy the show. You know what I mean? Let's enjoy this gets better. Yes. I saw some clips of this. It's crazy. Like the clip I saw was when he was like, you can say it. Like Trump after one meeting with Mamdani.
I've been taken up to the third heaven. I've been jacked into the big plane.
Yes. My favorite meme. Let's go. Oh no. Yes. Wow Mao. This is the greatest thing that Wow Mao's ever made.
I've seen it. I can't even compute all of it. It's so fantastical. You've not seen nothing. You ain't heard nothing. You ain't smelled nothing like this. I don't have words to tell you. But I tell you, anybody tries to get in the way of the incredible plan the big guy's got for us has got me pissed, and I'm just begging to stay on the team, man. Just put me in the game, coach. Whatever you say, coach. I know I'm weak. I know I'm pathetic. Man, you're amazing. I'm so lucky you made me. What do I do, Bob? Like a hunting dog, man. Just take me out of the house. Just turn me on them. Just tell me what I got to do. Tell me how I serve you. Tell me what I can do for you right now. Woo!
Bro, that's how brother, I'm gonna be honest. Past 10 days in the People's Republic, that's the timing I'm on right now. Okay, I'm like a hunting dog, coach. Put me in. Anyway, let's continue.
A little bit on getting the prices because we've gotten fuel prices way down, but it hasn't shown up in Con Edison, and we're gonna have to talk to them. If we're sending them fuel at a much lower price than it was a year ago, which is true, we have to get Con Edison to start lowering the rates.
Absolutely.
And if I may, last week you told me you were pushing ahead with your plans to sue the BBC for up to $5 billion. You're going to speak to Prime Minister Starmer as well. Is there any progress or any updates on those issues?
Well, we get along very well with the Prime Minister. We made a deal with UK. I like him. He's a fine person. And I think they have some big energy problems. They've got windmills all over the place. They're going to have to start using other methods because their energy is out of control.
Should Mamdani be cozying up to Trump, though? He's not cozying up to Trump, man. Trump is the president. Zohran Mamdani is the mayor of New York. Trump is the president of the United States of America, which also happens to be the president of New York City, okay? When you are the president, it's kind of like the mayor, but for everyone, okay? Since we have an interesting way of analyzing things here, I'll simplify it for you. Zohran Mamdani is the mayor of 8.8 million New Yorkers. Donald Trump is kind of like the mayor, but for 330 million Americans, right? Which includes Zohran Mamdani, for the record. Still doesn't justify platforming, though. Okay, you guys need to stop playing around, please. Please stop.
About in the UK, it's out of control. And he's got that problem. He's got a big immigration problem, as you know, and he's got a big energy problem. And we talk about it. He's a good man. Prime Minister's a good man.
You have a chance to speak this week.
I haven't spoken this week.
Have you spoken to President Zelensky, or do you intend to meet with him, President Zelensky, about your plan? Are you going to meet with him?
I've spoken with their people. We have a plan. It's horrible what's happening. It's a war that should have never happened. It would have never happened if I was president, and it's a shame. And I thought they should have acted quicker. But it's a cold winter, and a lot of the you talk about utilities, but a lot of the big energy producing plants have been under attack, to put it mildly, to put it nicely. We have a way of getting peace, or we think we have a way of getting peace. He's going to have to approve it. Just so sad, so many people. You know, last month they lost 25,000 soldiers. This is something, we haven't seen anything like this since the Second World War. And they're averaging 6,000 or 7,000 a week between the two of them, dead soldiers. And it goes on, and I think they're getting reasonably close. But
you are getting jealous of Trump, admit it. They are cute for real. Yes, I'm jealous of Donald Trump. Why is Chad sipping bleach? I don't know. I will admit, maybe it's because I'm in Hong Kong, but Hong Kong is so beautiful too, but I am a little excited to get back home and just kind of whip my life back into shape and whip this community back into shape as well, because 17-hour streams every single day has unironically made it much more difficult for me to just get a good grasp on what everyone is saying and doing. I do love the fun streams, but people have been just acting out, being unfreaking bearable. Chat is always as it is. It's your perspective and what you focus on that's changed. Ironic, because I'm doing it right now when I read this person, and there's truth to that for sure. I think it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. And for the record, I'm not gonna take a vacation to do a reset after this, because I'm instantly going to Ireland. I'm going to Ireland the beginning of December.
I don't want to predict. I would have said that would have been one of my early ones. I did 8 peace deals of countries,
with the blokes,
including in India, Pakistan. You could even go, in fact, they're coming here in a week or two, go to the Congo and Rwanda. That was 10 million people dead, and we worked something out on that. But so many. And the one I thought would have been, for me, because I have a very good relationship with President Putin, I thought that would have been maybe quicker. But it does take 2 to tango. And now you just see all the death. And, it doesn't affect us other than the fact that we don't want to see all those people dead. Really, it's on the other side of the ocean. It's a war that should have never happened. It did happen. I blame the person also sitting right behind this desk. This is a war that should have never happened, and it wouldn't have happened if I were president. But we're trying to save a lot of lives. They're losing 25,000 lives over the last short period of time. That's Ukrainian and Russian, and it's a shame.
What happens if President? I want to ask the mayor-elect about a House resolution just passed overwhelmingly to condemn socialism, including with 86 Democrats, all of House Dem leadership, and the Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, despite his endorsement of you. What's your reaction to that?
I have to be honest with you, I focused very little on resolutions. Frankly, I've been focusing...
Condemn socialism.
I understand. I think the focus is on the work at hand. I can tell you I am someone who is a democratic socialist. I've been very open about that. And I know there might be differences about ideology, but the place of agreement is the work that needs to be done to make New York City affordable. That's what I look forward to.
And I want to clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist. And your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And Mr. President, I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan.
Yeah.
I don't mind. That's crazy. I have to play that back. The arm pat, no, you can call me a fascist. I don't mind. What the that is the craziest part about it. This is probably the craziest part.
It's easier.
Positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about.
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
From here, Trump starts bouncing the right-wing reporters off left and right. Donald Trump stepped in front of the fascism question for him. Like, what is going on? I mean, there's also obviously like a terrifying prospect of this. It's unique because Donald Trump literally defends Zohran Mamdani there for calling him a fascist. It's also weird and scary because why the is Donald Trump openly being like, yeah, I am a fascist? That part is not great.
Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And Mr. President, I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan.
Yeah.
President Zelensky said today that his country would risk either giving up a partner or giving up its dignity. There's been criticism that this deal proposal.
He doesn't like it?
It's unclear. He was sort of tenuous about
He'll
it.
have to like it. And if he doesn't like it, then, they should just keep fighting, I guess.
The suggestion that he made, though, was that if he doesn't accept it,
Donald Trump is too dumb to know what a fascist is? No. That right there is actually deflating the term fascism. The reason, Donald Trump in that moment is basically saying, yeah, you don't have to, he's saying, he's giving Zohran an out and saying, you don't have to back away from your position here and make yourself look bad. You're a winner. This is your moment in the spotlight. I don't really care about this term at all. They just call me that, just like they call me racist, but it doesn't mean anything. Okay? That's most likely his belief system here. That's like, he's basically saying like, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. It's not true, but, it is what it is type of situation, which is still pretty up. It's not that he has no clue what it means. He knows what it means, chatters. He's just saying he doesn't mind being perceived as such, partially because he thinks this is a game. It's a very cynical way to approach the subject. But he's just like, yeah, it's just a game. You're playing your song and dance. I'm playing my song and dance. It is what it is, right? You're wrong. Trump is just looking at it as a bad word for politicians. Okay.
that the U.S. would pull back its support for Ukraine. Is that
Well, at some point he's going to have to accept something. He hasn't accepted. You remember right in the Oval Office not so long ago, I said, you don't have the cards. Don't forget, I inherited this war. This war never would have happened. I inherited this war. And I thought he should have made a deal a year ago, 2 years ago. The ultimate deal would have been if it never started. That would have been the good deal. That could have been done too if you had the right president, but you didn't have the right president.
Mr. President, the cost of living is something that you and Mr. Mamdani seem to agree on. Democrats have run New York City for a long time, Mr. Mamdani. Do you see Democrat policy specifically as being a problem? And I'd like that be a question that both of you could answer in New York City.
Look, I think that there are many things in our city where we have to own the responsibility of it, things that existed long before the president was the president. And those are also part of the message of our campaign, was to take on a broken politics of the past. And I ran against a number of candidates who represented different versions of that past. And what we found time and again is that working people were left behind in the politics of our city. And what we're looking to do is put those people right back at the heart of our politics so that we don't have a situation where we're in the wealthiest city in the history of the world, and yet 1 in 5 can't even afford $2.90 for a Metro card.
Mr. President,
he's sticking up to him, isn't he? Zohran wins the election during his speech. During his elected speech, he insults Trump, and now he's standing beside him like a wet chicken. He clearly doesn't have a character. What are you talking about? 1, he's not even the mayor yet. He's the mayor-elect. 2, Donald Trump hasn't done anything to undermine New Yorkers under the Zohran Mamdani mayoral reign yet. Obviously, you're gonna play nice to hopefully stave off any kind of like negative policy making that the White House is going to engage in terms of undermining the affordability agenda of Zohran Mamdani, right? What matters here is what he does after Donald Trump starts, sending ICE agents to New York.
We had some interesting conversation, and some of his ideas really are the same ideas that I have. But a big thing on cost, the new word is affordability.
This saved Thanksgiving across America. Yeah, so close to Thanksgiving. A lot of you guys are going to have a really funny time with your relatives. After months and months of Zohran Mamdani is a communist, it's terrifying. He's really bad. Donald Trump just basically deflates a year's worth of insane negative commentary and coverage from Fox News with one single meeting, with one single light tap on the shoulder. Donald Trump just basically came in and was like, no, this guy is handsome, he's funny, he's charismatic, he's going to do well. He calls himself a communist. It's all right. He calls me a fascist. I'm all right with that. We're just playing politics, right? Come on. We both love affordability, don't you think? Like, this is aura, okay? This is just, there's no other way to put it. You got a 34-year-old anti-Zionist Muslim socialist mayor of New York that was called a terrorist, anti-Semitic terrorist, Islamist jihadist every single day. And he won so resoundingly against a lot of his ops in the media, against a lot of the ops in the establishment Democrats, and of course the entirety of the right wing, that Donald Trump has to sit there and try to take some of his shine, because plenty of mayors win elections. Donald Trump is not inviting them to the White House to talk to them, and to talk to them like this. You have to think, why is Donald Trump doing this? The reason why Donald Trump is doing this is because he wants a little bit of that. He wants a little bit of that motion. Okay? That's it. He's low-key clout chasing Zohran Mamdani at a time when he recognizes his base of support is withering away. That's crazy. Where are all the Fox News commentators saying that Zohran was ammo for the right? What is the right going to say about him? I mean, they're going to go back to it. Trump is going to go back to it. Trump is going to talk about how Zohran is a scary communist. It's really interesting, though, because I brought this up during the election as well, which is Donald Trump was obviously very aggressive about Zohran when he was running for office, but he wasn't as racist about Zohran Mamdani, ironically enough, as Andrew Cuomo was, as Kirsten Gillibrand was. Kirsten Gillibrand says Zohran Mamdani wants to do Islamic jihad and kill all the Jews. Donald Trump never said that. Like, think about that. Isn't that insane? I brought it up throughout the election cycle. I was like, Donald Trump, partially because of all of his dealings with, all the Gulf leaders and whatnot, he sees Muslims as like magic money men. He was less aggressive about Zohran's background. He was less aggressive about Zohran's background during the election than establishment Democrats were. Some establishment Democrats were way more racist about Zohran. It's crazy to think. I also do love this because this meetup, I'm sorry, this meetup absolutely bricks the brains of Hosberists. I cannot comprehend how Trump likes Mamdani more than most of the Democratic Party leadership. Zohran did the genial leftist relative on Thanksgiving thing where you pulled a I don't like liberals either card and are just super vague about everything else. I mean, yeah. That is, that's the reason why, like, Austin always tells me, like, his uncle loves some of my commentary, right? Because I'm always like, yeah, I don't like Nancy Pelosi. Republicans love when I rip on liberals. They don't understand that I'm ripping on liberals because of their closeness to the Republicans. But I think ultimately it's more like it's beyond I don't like liberals either. Because I don't think Zohran dislikes liberals. I think Zohran likes liberals. He's closer to liberals than even someone like myself is. I have nothing against Zohran, but from my perspective, this seems so cringe. Okay, well, he has an obligation to serve 8.8 New York City. He has an obligation to serve the 8.8 million populated city of New York. Those are his constituents. So you might consider it to be cringe, but that's his job. Okay? When you hit 30, you are chopped. You are cringe, but you are free. Thank you. I agree.
But it's just groceries. You know, it's sort of an old-fashioned word, but it's very accurate. And they're coming down high. They were, you know, we had, both of us, we had the highest inflation in the history of our country the last 4 years under the Biden administration. And we've got inflation down now to a normal number. It's going to go even a little bit lower than that. Katie, do you have something?
Mr. President, thank you so much. Mr. Mamdani often talks about New York City being covered by international law, that they will follow international law. Doesn't often talk about the U.S. Constitution. What is your response to that?
Well, I don't know what you're referring to in terms of it can be covered by international law, local law. It's covered by a lot of laws, but it's covered by U.S. law. Are you referring to anything in particular?
He just says that they're a city that endorses and enforces international law. Is that at odds with
No,
U.S.
I don't
law?
know. Would you want to? Do you want to respond?
Yeah, I think what I've shared with the president is our desire to not only follow the laws of our own city, laws that protect New Yorkers, but also a desire for consistency in our politics across the board. And that's something that we've talked about and something that I know many New Yorkers want.
So you work with ICE? We work with ICE then?
We discussed ICE and New York City, and I spoke about how the laws that we have in New York City allow for New York City government to speak to the federal administration for about 170 serious crimes. The concerns that many New Yorkers have are around the enforcement of immigration laws on New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, and most recently we're talking about a mother and her 2 children, how this has very little to do with what that is.
Mr. Mamdani,
What we did is we discussed crime more than ICE per se. We discussed crime, and he doesn't want to see crime, and I don't want to see crime, and I have very little doubt that we're not going to get along on that issue. He wants to, and he said some things that were very interesting as to housing construction, and he wants to see houses go up. He wants to see a lot of houses created, a lot of apartments built, etc. And you know, we actually people would be shocked, but I want to see the same thing.
Mr. Mamdani,
Kind of up for Zohran to not check in with Hasan Abi's chat before meeting with the president just to see if it's okay. Okay, you're joking, but there's a low key. There are people in here who genuinely believe that. Like, there are people who are operating with that exact attitude where they're like, I don't understand what's going on here. Why didn't he come to us? It's rude of him, really. And they would have been like, no, actually, you're not allowed to do that because that would mean you're normalizing fascism. Yeah. Zohran Mamdani, the Hasan Pike delegation is cutting ties with Zohran Mamdani. Okay? The honeymoon period is over.
protesters.
Okay.
Mr. President, I wanted to know one of the policies as well that Mayor-elect Mamdani talked a number of times about on the campaign was shifting the tax burden for property taxes from what he called minority communities to white-based communities and putting more taxes on white people.
No. Jack Posobiec is in that room. Are you joking? Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. Ew, gross. Gross. Unacceptable. Switching up on Big Zo as soon as he found a bigger political streamer, Trump, to hang with. Yeah. No, he's the one who switched up on me. He forgot his day ones, dude. He forgot his day ones. That's what it is. Lunatic reporter, you cannot call him a reporter. He is at best a white nationalist Twitter poster, okay? I can't believe this shit.
That in your acceptance speech you didn't mention anything about America or Christians or white people in general, and so I didn't know if that was one of the policies that you guys had spoken about.
We focused on affordability. We focused on the cost of living crisis. What I will say is that I am very much interested in property tax reform, because what we see right now in New York City is a system that is so inequitable that it can't even stand up in court. And the president and I spoke about the importance of not only building more housing, but also making sure that regulation of housing is something that is manageable to actually get through, and not the cause of yet another weight that we see in our
But to be
city.
clear, you're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear,
That's what you said.
no, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
So you intend to tax the whiter neighborhoods more?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want a New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
Please, go ahead.
Mr. Mamdani, anti-Israel protesters just targeted a synagogue in New York. Are you concerned about Jewish New Yorkers feeling welcome and safe in the city? And President Trump, you've threatened to cut off federal funding to New York City. What policies would prompt you to do that? Would that be city-run grocery stores? Would it be something else?
Yeah, this is another thing that annoys me to no end. Okay. Yeah, once again, another like Jewish place of worship being used to literally illegally sell stolen property on in the West Bank, in direct violation of New York City rules, in direct violation of international human rights, in direct violation of all the laws. And then when people protest outside of it, everybody goes, oh my God, I cannot believe how anti-Semitic people are. It's one of the most annoying things. I can't believe it still happens. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, what are we doing here? There will be protests wherever Zionists hold events, selling plots of stolen land or fundraising for the displacement of Palestinians. If people use their houses of worship to host these events, that is a reflection of their own moral rot. That's what should be condemned. And every single time, dumb liberals will eat that bait and be like, oh my God, I am so saddened. I am so saddened. I'm so upset. Not at the fact that these guys are basically violating every single rule and every single law and demonstrating one of the most like immoral things that you can do, like doing it in a place of worship. That's not what's saddening for these people. It's the fact that people actually are criticizing it. It's the fact that people are actually protesting against it. It's like, shut the up. Lock in, man. What do you think is the bigger problem here? The fact that people are protesting against like people selling illegally selling stolen houses in an apartheid state, in a place of worship, or the people protesting against that outside of the place of worship? Yeah, the city of Boston persecuted Catholics, prosecuting the child molesting priests. Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe they did that. Yeah, if the Catholic priests were also openly hosting like a child molestation seminar in one of the churches, yeah, be out there protesting against that too. It has nothing to do with every single Catholic church. It has nothing to do with Catholicism. And it would have something to do with that individual church. It's so annoying. Yeah, the new right-wing thing is describing crimes as generically as possible to pretend like they're not crimes. Someone gets convicted of conspiracy and they start yelling, wow, so it's illegal to make plans with friends now. Text from a GOP operative on the Trump-Mamdani meeting. To be honest, I think this pours gasoline on the internal war within the Dems. Hakeem won't talk or work with him, but Trump is open to working with him. Further forces Dems to fully embrace Mamdani and his agenda. They're on copium o'clock. Is it hateful? It is hateful to say the settlements advertised by the group violate international law. What is this? Can you look at my pre's comment? If it's not a good comment, I'm gonna put you on a spaceship. What is this? Aside from Bernie Sanders, there's not even close to another politician in the country who could stand behind Trump in the Oval Office and defend humanitarian beliefs. Not even close. Okay, it wasn't good enough. Take a second off. Don't ever do that again. That was the brilliant comment that you were like spamming me to read. Sorry for any typos. Okay, another second off. Now you're down 2 seconds. At least it wasn't at least it wasn't a stupid one. Okay, at least it was fine. That's why I gave him a second. Half the time when people are like, you have to see the previous comment that I wrote. I cooked it up. I cooked up the greatest comment of all time. And then it's just like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. At least this one was fine. It just wasn't as unique. If it's not a good comment, I'm going to put you on a spaceship. Yes, I have to say stuff like that because whenever I use any other kind of spicy language, every single pedophilic neo-Nazi, like lolly avatar account on the internet goes, why isn't he being banned? Why isn't he being banned? Oh my God, ban this person. He wants to literally take a gun out and execute every single one of us. Oh my God. Like, that's literally how they operate. I'm shaking right now. I literally heard this streamer say that he's going to pull a chatter out to the Times Square and execute him. Oh my God. Yeah, every Keon avatar account on Twitter will be like at FBI, at DOJ, at Donald Trump,